1-2, 1-2.
1-2, 1-2.
Lovely. Beautiful.
You can hear me?
1-2.
1-2, 1-2.
Yep. The road to the Group 7 finals has reached the final weekend of the home and away season here in Group 7. It's the St George Illawarra Milton Ulladulla ex-Servos match of the round at the Nowra Showground between the Jets and the Gerringong Lions. Corey Hammond with you. Alongside me is Courtney Ward from the South Coast Register. And Courtney, this is a match that has plenty of permutations when it comes to the top 5.
Oh, absolutely. We've been speaking about it probably the last couple of weeks when we've been doing the call, and yeah, it's huge. Obviously, the Jets pretty much need a win to guarantee themselves a final spot. Obviously, they can rely on the Rarilla and Albion Park game, which will be happening as we speak right now as well, kicking off at 3. But yeah, in Rarilla, obviously, if they can win, they're moving up to 3rd. Otherwise, they could fall back into 4th and face elimination final next week. So, huge game here at the Showground. Yeah,
it is. The Lions, obviously, they've sealed a semi-final spot, but that second bite of the cherry, it's so important, isn't it?
Absolutely, and they've already lost 2 straight, so you don't really want to be going into finals losing 3 straight. So, and obviously, they're playing without Nath Ford today, which is a big loss. We're hearing he's got a bit of a fractured eye socket, so probably rested him, you'd think, for this week, Corey, because they know they're already in the finals, and next week's a must-win if they lose today, and obviously it means a lot more next week. But the Lions are running onto the field, so do you want to run us through the lines, Corey?
I will. Let out there by their stand-in skipper, Rickson Russell, going through the side. At the back, it's the very dangerous Toby Gumley Quine on the wings, Joel Ducey and Harry Phillips, Matt Winchester, the try-scoring machine, alongside Joel Roberts. Corey Mulhall and Rickson Russell are the halves in the front row, Alex Weir and Bo Ducey is the hooker, and Judd Collier there as well. Jordan Chandler, Hamish Holland, and of course the point-scoring machine, Jake Taylor. On the bench, Isaac Russell, Ben Grant, Alec Brooks, and Aidan Wern. And they are coached by the legendary Michael Cronin.
So they run through the Jets side, and the Jets will come on the field soon. Nathan Deeds is in the 1 jersey, Nath Fowles in the 2, Josh Calder, Ryan James are the centres, Blake Aristotis is the 5, Dwayne Buster Connors is the 6, PJ Adler's the 7, Matt Riddy Rowan's in the 15, Kurt Quinlan's the 9, Zach Kershaw's the 10, Benny Wellington, Dylan Farrell and Josh Power Farrell at 11, 12 and 13 respectively. Then you've got Dale Warden's the 14, Elliot Stewart's the 16, Danny Dees is the 17, Reece Faglin's the 18 and Timmy Williams is the 19th man.
As the captain coach Dylan Farrell leads the Jets onto the showground here in Nowra to a rousing reception and some stirring intro music. The Jets faithful turning up in their droves today. Great to see so many cars around the showground, and a picturesque day. You'd forget it's winter, 20 odd degrees we're going for today. As we see the Lions with the ball on halfway, they will run to the southern end in this first half, and it's going to be a crucial clash, as we know, in the context of the top 5. We'll bring you, of course, updates of that all-important game between Warilla and Albion Park as the Gorillas try and sneak into the 5. But the Jets, they've got semi-finals in their destiny as the ball is kicked off. It's deep and it goes down to Dylan Farrell, who hands it off. And the Jets, well, they'll be looking to prove a point. Not only that, they are going to be in finals, but they deserve to be there. As Kershaw bounces out of tacklers, and he's brought down 21 metres out. Both of these sides quite literally limping into the final round. And I noticed that Dylan Farrell is playing today, but there are concerns over his calf. But boy, oh boy, he will be important today as they work it back to the right through Connors, and he goes back to the midfield where Rowan will be tackled 12 short of halfway. His first set of the game, Power Farrell, one of their best forwards, one of their most dangerous forwards. And they can't bring him to ground, but he'll be told to play it as they sweep to the short side with Farrell. Farrell flicking it out the back. Play on is the call. No, it's called up. Forward pass.
It was obviously a pretty exciting start there by the Jets, but you know, like the last 2 weeks we've seen them, it's sort of Jekyll and Hyde. You've obviously seen they were really good against Rilla, and then last week was probably their worst performance of the year. So, yeah, interesting to see in the first 20 minutes which Jets side we get. I think we'll probably get the one against Rilla because finals is on the line, and Dylan will have rev these guys up, say, like, this is the reason we play all season. We want to be in the fight.
As Collier plays it just short of halfway, well, ball control will certainly be of the utmost importance today as Holland plays the football after a nice unload. Russell goes short side and quick hands it. Eventually goes out there to Roberts, and Roberts is brought down, and 3 of them in there eventually to effect the tackle. Slow play the ball. They'll take the quick tap after getting the penalty, but he'll be told to go back and play it on the mark. A good start, and as we see in the 14 jersey, Isaac Russell starting with obviously no Nathan Ford today. And the Lions now with the first chance of the afternoon. Just 20 metres out. Russell, short hands, and it goes on to Collier there. Nice hands
forward
from Taylor. Well,
they caught that last one from Taylor forward. Off the hook there for the Jets.
Certainly was flat, but and both sides just struggling with their execution in the opening minutes of this one. What do you think Michael Cronin would be saying to his men? Because, geez, they've struggled with injuries and they haven't been playing the best football.
No, I spoke to Crow earlier in the week, and he said in his time here he's never sort of had the sort of injury crisis they've got, not just in first grade but across all the grades. And he said they were just, you got to do what you do, and everyone's just next man up sort of mentality. And I think that the structure's there. Like, obviously you're missing Nathan Ford.
As we see another error that time, Kershaw leaving it behind, and it's a sloppy start to this match of the round.
But obviously you lose Nathan Ford, but then Isaac Russell slots straight in there, and just the structures there. You know, Rickson Russell's going to run most of the show. Jake Taylor's going to do a lot. So Corey Mahol's going to chime in when he can. So, yeah, it won't be too different. And I think, obviously, Gerringong know and play to their strengths and know how to win a game of football.
That they do, as the scrum will pack only 26 metres out from the Jets line as they go open side. And Gumley Quine with the football. Geez, he's dangerous. Scored a double in their win over the Jets earlier in the season. 42-12 on that occasion. And they're looking dangerous again. There's another tip on the line.
Well, this is Gumley Quine's first game back. He's actually missed the last couple with a hamstring injury. So it'll be interesting if he can actually get through the whole game and how that hamstring sort of hampers him. He is dangerous.
Mulhall at the line, he certainly is, and Holland will take the tackle only 8 metres out. It was a good one in the end. Quinlan was in there. Russell short side, and now it's Mulhall, one of the most dangerous ball running halves in the competition, only brought down 2 metres out as they look to sweep it back to the open side through Roberts at acting half. Then Russell getting it further afield, and Taylor the hit and spin. Well, we know he can sniff out a try as well, and that's the 5th and last. Russell looking out to the left where they've got lined up there. Russell, Gumley Quine, he's wrapped up, nowhere to go. Good tackle coming in from Dylan Farrell.
They read that a bit easy. They rushed up on Rickson Russell, and then Rickson Russell sort of put Gumley Quine in completely under pressure there. A bit of a hospital ball, and he couldn't do anything there, Gumley Quine. So great defence by Dylan Farrell.
Now Falzon will try and work it out of the red zone, and the Jets can regroup. A couple of errors to start this game, which will, I'm sure, make Dylan Farrell very unhappy, as Quinlan was picked up and dumped, but he got an offload away, and looking to promote the football in typical Jets fashion as Adler plays it 15 shy of halfway. They go back to the right, and it's Rowan in the midfield, and a bit of leg drive, some post-meter contact, and he gets to within 9 of halfway. Now Farrell out to the right, and he shows it. Fends away from Taylor, fends away from another one. Farrell, look at him, so strong. Have to be one of the strongest players one-on-one in the competition. 5th and last, this time they get to the kick, and it's a high one from James. He gives it plenty of altitude. It's going towards the sideline, and it gets a favourable bounce as far as the Lions are concerned, 15 metres out from their own line.
We don't mind that if you're the Lions. Obviously there's a tough kick to sort of diffuse, but they get the ball starting their own 10 or 15, so yeah, at least they got to the kick there of the Jets as well. Obviously the last couple they dropped, but yeah, Dylan Farrell will probably be happy just to get through a complete set of 6 there.
Beautiful day.
It looks like Dale Wharton's actually starting for the Jets in the 14 out there. So he's lining up between Stixie and Ryan James.
So an interesting move from Dylan Farrell.
I'm trying to who's out there.
He's now working it away is Harry Phillips for the Lions. And the winger will be brought down smack bang on the 20 metre line. The Lions have had the lion's share of possession and territory in this one. Now that'll be Ducey to play it. He's 21 short of halfway. The Lions looking to bounce back to form. They haven't been in the best of it lately. Losses to Kiama and Shellharbour. They'll certainly want to win over the Jets today to prove they belong in the finals equation as they work it up to halfway. Russell waiting at dummy half. Taylor at the advantage line and makes some good metres as well. 41 away from the Jets line on the last. To the trusty boot of Russell, who again goes high, and it's a test for Fowson. He's under it, and he takes it pretty comfortably in the end before giving it away to his fullback, and Ardle will be driven back, and he refuses to yield and told to go back and play it on the mark. Now, Ryan James probably didn't have his best game last week, but we know what he can do at his best. He'll play it 30 out from his own line as they go back to that short side, and playing it will be Wellington. Wellington may have got a bit of a push there. Perhaps lucky not to concede a penalty as Kershaw tries to spin away from the contact. Time off called. The trainers maybe just told to vacate the field.
We talk about before Corey Mahler being one of the most dangerous ball running halves. It also helps having Jake Taylor at 13. Realistically, you've got Jake Taylor on one side, Corey Mahler on the other, and Rickson can just call the shots. So you've got two great ball playing, like pretty much forwards. Like Corey Mahler really is a back rower in a 6th jersey, so there's a real luxury for Michael Cronin's side there.
As Phillips takes that one, that spiral test, and he'll play at 12 metres shy of halfway. The Lions, they started like a house on fire, but the troops have slowly fallen one by one this season. No Nathan Ford this afternoon. And the spiritual leader, and certainly the leader on paper of this side, will be sorely missed today. As now Weir into the Jets half. And now they work it to the short side. The Russell boys working in tandem there, but an error from Mulhall, who couldn't take it, and Coulter comes up with the football. And now the Jets with their best opportunity of the game as they start the set on halfway, as Power Taylor goes to Kershaw, and Kershaw's brought down 2 men in there to make the tackle. And now they'll continue right. Power Farrell again. Good start by the lock forward. Playing alongside his brother in the back row. Now Kershaw. Been so impressed with him at the back end of the season. He's
getting through a mountain of work, isn't he? Last couple of weeks he's played 80 minutes at prop, which is realistically unheard of for a guy of his size.
So a block play, Ardler waiting on it. Oh, and he gets his defender out the road. The big don't argue, but can't get away from the cover coming in. And now the Jets can smell a chance. Rowan, he's only 10 metres away. One play up the sleeve for the Jets. They started slowly last week, looking to make a much better start this week. Kershaw offload to Farrell. Forward.
I thought it was forward from here. Don't you agree?
Agreed.
Yeah. But is that the right option? I know you want to hit that Kershaw there running on, but I think you should have hit at the back. I was lining up. You had Benny Wellington. You obviously had Josh Calder. You had Blake Harris-Davis all for the sweep. I would have at least gone to the backline play or put a kick through.
Well, I don't think they've learnt from last week. I would have loved to have seen Dylan Farrell just poke the ball into the in-goal, get a repeat set, build that pressure. They need to build pressure today, the Jets, if they're to break down this Lions side, because they're so disciplined.
Because that killed them last week. Their last play options at the end of sets really, that was the difference between Keimer and the Jets last week. So hopefully they've talked about that. Like you said, that roll it in there, get a repeat set, the second best option apart from a try. So they've got a lot to work on there.
Ryan James, he came up with an absolute bell ringer on Collier. As the Lions try to work it out of their own half, danger-free. Farrell missing a tackle, and it'll be Gumley Quine to play it. So inside the 40, Russell looking for the 40-20, but the back three was set, and now Fowson tucks it under the right wing, gets away from one. And the Maltese international will be brought down 19 short of halfway.
You'll love that you've the Maltese Falcon on the fly.
Yeah, let's hope we see him at full flight today. And it'll be interesting to see the outside backs for both sides as we see Coulter there making some good metres.
Great run.
He came into his own at the back end of the game when it was all dead and buried last week. Hoping to see more of him this afternoon as Farrell waits at the line. He goes short, and the defence was up to the task on that occasion. Weir coming in with the tackle. He had some help there as well from Winchester, but it was a penalty.
You speak about Coulter. Do you think he's obviously stuck playing in the centres right now, but do you think you will see him slide into that 6 at times? Because that's where, like, the last 20 minutes against Kyme, he was fantastic. He was probably nearly their best. Led to some tries. I think he's probably best at the 6 or the 1.
I'm sure there would have been a temptation from Dylan Farrell to start him there, but it wasn't to be, as now the Jets with Dale Warden there 25 metres out. 0-0 the score in this crucial final round matchup as the ball loose. It's another penalty.
Yeah, there was more than one in the tackle there, and obviously a strip. So do you take the 2 or do you go for the tap?
Important game. Points could be at a premium, and I do say that against two teams that can attack and have got plenty of points, but I'd like to see them take the 2. Get some points on the board. That's a good decision.
I agree with you. Completely agree. Especially, like you said, so much on the line. Like, final spot on the line for the Jets, I would absolutely look in the 2.
Well, they didn't score for 60 minutes last week, and I think points gives you confidence, particularly if you can strike first, albeit only 2 points. And I like this decision from Dylan Farrell. We know that they can attack, and they've got plenty of players with strike, and they could have easily taken the tap and maybe even scored 4 points, but get the guaranteed 2, or certainly, I think, with Dylan Farrell's boot, without risk of putting the mocker on him, I think he'll put this over comfortably.
Absolutely. But if you're the Lions, do you sort of take that as like, they don't back themselves to get through our defence? Do you take that as a positive as well?
As Farrell, he's missed it. I've put the
You're kidding.
Proverbial mocker on him.
You dead set have you jinxed him.
I give up.
I'll tell Dill after the game that and you've dead set jinxed him.
I've dead set crucified him there. What about that
How good is
dropout?
that?
Bouncing end on end. It's gone all the way. It's gone 80 metres.
You can't get a better dropout. Look at the still Jets guys running back now.
And now it's as good as a get-out set for the Jets.
So it's turned from having a 2-0 advantage to now they're working out of their own end.
How the game can change.
By the commentator's curse.
Ryan James, look at him running, stepping and getting through the line, and the Jets back into the Lions half. Again, the momentum shifts as Connors gets a ball early to Wellington, who gets away from one. They're 25 metres out all of a sudden. The Lions, they went to sleep up the middle, and it was the X factor of James. And now Power Farrell, he works it into the Lions red zone with one play up the sleeve. Quinlan, Connors, Farrell this time rolls it straight to the winger. Wasn't the play. And the Lions get out of jail. Quick play the ball. Joel Ducey.
They're all in front of you.
The Jets fans and the Lions fans very vocal here this afternoon. Will the crowd play a factor in this one? 20 short of halfway, the Lions. Still 0-0 the score as Collier plays it. They go short side, and again it's Mulhall. He's so dangerous. He poked his head through the gap, but it was a despairing tackle. They go short side. A chance here. Holland, quick hands. Roberts out to his winger Phillips. Check side kick, looking for the bounce and going back. Saving the day was Adler, who got there just in the nick of time.
There was a bit of a Lions were calling for a guy taken out in the back play there, and wasn't to be for the Lions. But yeah, a bit of excitement there from the Lions.
Really was. And now Wharton with the Jets back in the centre of the park as they go to the right with Farrell to James. Gets the flick back to Farrell.
He's been fantastic so far, Ryan James, hasn't he?
He really has, as Farrell gets away from Winchester. What a battle out there on that edge this afternoon. Winchester and Farrell and James. As they go back to the middle, it's James again, running it up like a front rower. He's certainly got the size. You could throw him there and he certainly wouldn't disgrace you, that's for sure, as that kick goes high, swirling around, and the error coming up from Harry Phillips. Well, he passed the test the first time the ball was sent his way, but this time it was too hot to handle.
Huge chance here for the Jets. This is probably their best attacking set, you'd say. Obviously, they've had a couple sets down there, but like they get, 6 tackles now within the Lions' 30s metre line, and chance to score the first points just after 15 minutes gone. So, what would you like to see here from the Jets? A grubber kick in or a bomb?
I'd love to see a repeat set, and however they get it. I think certainly probably the grubbers, usually the way you try and force that repeat set, but you've just got to build pressure. You've got to wear this Lions side down, and if they can do that, I think they'll go a long way to winning this afternoon. Warden 21 metres out. The Jets, they're hungry. Connors, cut out ball on the bounce. Picked up by Harris Davis, who has been in good try scoring form of late. 20 metres out. Wellington at acting half. Quick hands, Connors to Kershaw. Kershaw, he gets them going in the right direction. They've been going left to right, right to left, but he gets them going straight north. The compass working there. Connors, Farrell, short ball, calls for forward, and the refs picked it up.
And they let the Lions off the hook there, and the Jets were actually looking pretty dangerous. They're going from left to right, right to left, and yeah, the Lions, they're all sucking in the big ones now, and now they get a chance to work out their own end. But I'd say probably the Jets have had the better of the run, the first 17 minutes. Yeah,
certainly the first 5 minutes, the Lions look more dangerous. For the last 10, it's certainly shifted that pendulum, and I think it's certainly been in the Jets' favour.
Well, a lot has to do with Ryan James on that. Every time he touches the ball out on that right edge, it was either a break or an offload. Like, he's been fantastic and started the game. Like I said, wasn't his best game last week, but started like house on fire this week.
33 tries between Matt Winchester and Ryan James. What a battle those centres.
Well, arguably the two best centres in the comp. I know we saw Ethan Ford play last week at Kiama. He'd be in the conversation as well. And there's a lot of good centres going around. Obviously, those two Jamboree boys. But, yeah, you're not going to get much better centres. And obviously, Joshy Calder's not a bad centre either as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of good centres going around in the competition right now.
Yep, certainly is. Mulhall. Met there by Coulter, and the tacklers peel off. Connors the last to finish him off. Back to the centre of the park, they work it through Russell to Roberts, and Roberts brought down 8 shy of halfway. That's the 5th and last. They'll get to their kick, and it goes high down the throat of Adler, who, whoa, he's dropped, but it's gone backwards. It's gone backwards, so the Jets come up with it. Adler throws the dummy, but I tell you, Phillips wasn't buying it.
No. They're very lucky that they called that backwards. Adler obviously had a couple of drop balls last week, dropped one just then, and they called it back and time off.
So we see Phillips limping back into the line, and
that's probably that ball and all tackle on Adler. Like he runs it as hard as any back in the competition.
Well, now I think that they've seen he is suspect under the high ball. Expect more to come his way in this game. Now,
well, they would have seen the footage from the Kiama game. Absolutely, he had 3 errors in about 40 minutes, which is not great from your fullback. Considering he had an absolute barnstorm the week before against Rilla here, he was best on nearly.
Rocks and diamonds. What will we get today? Farrell inside to power Farrell. Looking to shrug up for the first up tackle from a determined and a dogged Isaac Russell. But the markers, he's caught them out. He's got to quick play the ball. And now Russell goes to James. The fend on Winchester. The kick infield. But it's going to go out on the full on that eastern side.
Was the kick necessary then? It wasn't the last play. I reckon you just go to ground and you're in great position there. You've got 1 or 2 more tackles up your sleeve. Build pressure. You've been saying that last 5 minutes. Build pressure. Get a repeat set. Make the Lions defend. And you're going to get points. Obviously, they missed that chance with the 2 before. And yeah, another chance goes begging.
As the Lions try and work it away from their own end, which they've been doing quite a bit in this opening quarter of the game. Quick hands at the line. Collier to his front row partner and Weir, and they drive him back towards the northern end. Strong defence. Rowan in there. Kershaw, the 2 front rowers, muscling up. And it could be this forwards battle that could go a long way to deciding this one, with both sides, with so much strike out wide. But the forwards obviously needing to lay the platform as the Lions up to halfway almost. Russell throwing the dummy. The offload, it's wayward, it bounces. Eventually they come up with it. Winchester trying to slice through, as he's done so often this season. That's the 5th and last as they go to Taylor. Taylor, he gives the ball some altitude, fouls and under it, and he takes it magnificently, gets away from the first up tackle as well, and the offload as well. Ryan James shrugging away from tacklers, and he's flirting with the touchline, but he eventually takes the tackle. As now the Jets work it again, and it's fouls like a Dodgem car. Bouncing away and earning a penalty, no, told to play it on the mark.
Jets are making their first sub. Nathan Dees just come on for Dale Wharton. So you probably see him slot in the forward, you'd say. He's going straight in the middle, it looks like.
Now the ball out to Connors. Connors through the dummy, gets an offload away, and Wellington almost. What a tackle coming in, mind you, from Roberts.
Yeah, that's where you need PJ Arter coming on the hip, don't you? You really need your fullback slicing through. Obviously, just you had two offloads there, and if Ardler's there, they're probably going length in the field, nearly scoring. It'll be a foot race between him and Gumley Quine, and geez, that'd be exciting to watch.
One tackle up the sleeve. Will they go the kick? Yes, they do. Farrell. Skyward he goes. Phillips again, who will have nightmares tonight. He takes it beautifully for the Lions.
The degree of difficulty of that one compared to the last one he dropped was a lot higher, but he did fantastically well to keep his eyes on the ball despite the two chases coming through from the Jets.
Gumley Quine, 15 metres out from his own line. He plays at centre of the park as the Lions try and somehow conjure up first points, but they're at the wrong end. They've got 80 metres to go, and it's the Jets, you'd have to say, who've had the better of the first 22 minutes, but they also haven't been able to capitalise. Russell now, after that scoot from dummy half, filling in for Nathan Ford, and Gumley Quine's had a look, and he's left the ball behind.
I know, we talk about the Lions keep working out of their own end. They can't complete the set there, and the Jets obviously get another chance here, and both teams are sucking in the big ones. And there's still another 18 minutes to go, Hammer. So, well, the Jets really need to convert this. They've had a couple of chances down this end of the field. They've obviously had a great field position and probably dominated that the last, probably, you'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. You'd agree?
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly have been playing down this part of the showground, the northern end.
And they really need to convert that into points because, you know, Gerringong, as well as anyone, can turn the tide pretty quickly.
They certainly can. And now Ardler at second receiver, getting the ball off Farrell. So he'll play at 30 out. And again, looking for work. Deves. 15 out. The Jets looking for first points. Farrell to the line. Out the back, Connors. Connors cut out, almost a try up the other end for the Lions, but instead Nowra will get the ball back.
Joel Robertson had that. He had two hands on it, just couldn't quite get it, and it would have been interesting. I think he would have probably given it off to Harry Phillips, who's a flyer down that edge. But yeah, exciting. And now the Jets got another chance, and geez, the game could swing that quickly, couldn't it?
Certainly is.
He picked it. He just couldn't get his hands on it. Maybe Joel Roberts 5 years ago when he was playing at the fullback, he could have caught it, but he's a bit he's probably lost half a yard of pace. You can attest to that, can't you, Hammer?
Yes, I certainly can. Now Farrell loses the ball. First tackle.
Coach killer. And it was the captain coach.
Well,
sure, you're preaching, let's just complete, build some pressure, and you've been saying that for 5 minutes. Surely.
First tackle, tuck the ball under the wing.
You're 10 out. You're 10 out from their line. You get 5 tackles on their line and you drop it on the first one.
Well, will the Lions make them pay?
Well, let's see if they can get through a set themselves.
Neither side able to really seize the opportunity as Russell goes out there to Roberts, and Roberts cut down at a nice textbook tackle from Josh Coulter. And now a scoot from dummy half, looking to get the Lions on the front foot. Gumley Quine to play it. They go to the middle. Taylor with a pass to no one. It's a horrible ball. It's towed through, but it was off hands.
I think they've caught it actually forward as well.
It was an absolute shocker from Taylor.
Yeah. Going to ground, obviously called forward, and again, Michael Cronin must be nearly pulling his hair out. Like, they just can't complete sets, and they're making errors coming out of your own end, which is the worst type of errors you can make. So it looks like Reece Faglin's about to come on for the Jets. Their second substitution. Interesting who comes off. I assume it'll be Ford. But I don't think Gerringong's made any subs yet. Have you seen a Gerringong sub yet?
No, I think they've gone with their starting complement, which is an interesting decision. Corners to Adler! Pinning the ears back for the corner. The tackle from Gumley Quine. Has he held him up? Has he held him up? No! Referee Will Drury pointing to the spot. Connors to Adler. And the Jets finally get first points 25 minutes in.
Gumley Quine did exceptionally well there to nearly prevent a certain try. But yeah, finally they just created some space and a great ball there, and Adler just yawning gap, and it was a foot race. But yeah, I think it's been coming, that try, for a while. The pressure's down there, and finally the hosts get the reward on the scoreboard that they deserve.
Connors has looked good with the ball.
That was a fantastic, wasn't it? And Adler was just miles of room.
Perfect line. And the footsteps, they started getting shorter and shorter as he was going to that try line. Gumley Quine almost coming up with the tackle of the year.
He's lightning. I reckon it was another 10 metres. I think Gumley Quine had him.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, he had him on the try line, and he just got the ball down in the nick of time. And Dylan Farrell, he missed an absolute sitter. I would back him in here.
So you
back him in.
Put the Mickey on the last one.
I'm confident.
You shouldn't jinx him. You jinxed him on the last one.
He doesn't miss 2 in a row.
Famous last words.
Farrell moving in. 5 metres in for the touchline. Look at that strike. Couldn't get any better if you tried. Dylan Farrell converts, and it's 6-0 to the Jets.
You're enjoying that one a little bit too much, aren't you?
I admit I got some satisfaction to that. I apologise for earlier, Dylan Farrell. I apologise, but it was worth waiting to see that try and see that conversion.
It was a fantastic try and obviously a great conversion. And yeah, 6-0 to the Jets with 13 to play in the first half.
High kick off straight down the hay. Diddle! Adler! Well, he just scored the try and he almost came up with a fatal error. But he gets back into the field of play and they'll start their set only just 10 metres out from their own line.
That is a killer.
Well, there is the error.
And that's Adler. He goes from hero to villain within a space of, 2 minutes? Scores a try and then nearly makes an error and then ends up making the error.
Oh, who'd be a Jet supporter?
Who'd be a coach?
You would age incredibly, wouldn't you?
Go from
They're so good, and then they can be so diabolical. But anyway, the Lions looking to bounce back. Mulhall. And he's brought down, and that's going to be a penalty, surely.
Oh, it's called knock on.
Well, Power Farrell, I think it even may have been Kershaw that came in and after the tackle was completed, giving some extra attention, maybe he got up too quickly. It all sort of happened in the blink of an eye, but the moral of the story is the Lions have coughed up first tackle.
Oh, I think that'd be the message of the break by both sides. Let's just complete, both teams are probably at 50%. And their early errors, like first or second tackle, there's not like errors on your fourth or fifth tackle.
And now Deeves. Fresh onto the park. He plays at 15 metres out from his own line. Kershaw. Geez, I love the way this guy plays. He'll play at 21 out. Now Wellington over from the left edge to the right.
You would love Kershaw. He started in the centres and now he's moved into the middle. That'd be much like yourself, wouldn't it?
Farrell now. Out to Ryan James. Farrell to James. James! Oh, he goes round the fullback, Gumley Quine. That is some of the best you'll see from Ryan James.
Wow. How good. He's probably been best on so far. He's been dynamic down that far touchline.
He is giving Matt Winchester an absolute bath out there.
What do you got against Matt Winchester?
Well, I've got nothing against him, but he is just getting dominated at the moment. Ryan James.
Well, realistically, you think he just stood up Toby Gumley Quine. He's one of the quickest in the comp. He's got the speed, and he's a handful strength-wise as well. Winchester's obviously speedy, but doesn't have the size to sort of combat Ryan James, and Ryan James has just been killing it and gets a well-deserved try, and now the Jets quickly, they turn 1 into 2 pretty quickly.
Dylan Farrell and Ryan James, they're so deadly in terms of their combination out there.
Especially, and you think next week, if they were to go into the finals, you add Tyson Simpson to that mix as well, and Jake Gould obviously not here as well. That right edge of the Jets is as good as anyone's in the comp. When you think Dill Farrell, you've got, especially if you've got Buster or Josh Coulter who can float the left-hand side, and you just let Dill Farrell just dominate that right, it just makes it so more dangerous for the Jets. We saw that 2 weeks against Rorilla.
Absolutely.
Is he going to make this? You've gone 1 from 2 so far.
He's hot to trot. I'll back him in. He moves in. The strike's good. Is the direction good? No, it's not. It's out to the right. No goal, but 10-0 the score. The Jets have gone bang, bang. Do the Lions have a response?
Well, the biggest thing for the Lions is just completing. Like, they had a golden opportunity to score points down there a couple of minutes ago, and on the first play they lose it. So I think they just got to, if they can snag one here and go down by a converted try or less than a converted try, I think Michael Cronin will be happy. Realistically, it hasn't been a great half by the visitors.
Yeah, plenty of room for improvement. Well, Falzon stuck the mid out.
Did that go backwards?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Jeez, it was pretty close.
I think it went back towards his own dead ball line, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it wasn't the most convincing of plays from the right winger for the Jets. 9 minutes left until the half-time oranges. So Fagerland out there on the right. He'll play 12 short of halfway. The Jets, their Achilles heel we've seen so often is conceding the ball through an error after points. Kershaw with a quick play the ball. Quinlan goes towards the middle. And it's Deves trying to fend away from the tacklers, but Weir was in there and he got some help as well. And well, the marker was pushed over there. Lucky not to concede a penalty. It's the
Adler's flying.
He doesn't get the bounce. Mulhall. And he gets away from Farrell momentarily. And Farrell comes again and makes the tackle. 28 metres out. Well, it was almost try number 3 if Adler got the bounce.
It sort of was the right bounce you wanted. It just was the wrong direction, but it bounced back to the guys running through, and it was perfectly timed. Adler was at full flight. Like, Gumby Quine was just caught on an island there. It couldn't do anything if it had gone to Adler.
Certainly could have. It could have been 16-0. And it would have been a long way back. You'd almost think the Lions have to be next to score. Taylor now, as they work it into the Jets half and get a penalty as well. Taylor looking for the quick tap, but Will Drury's having nothing of it. So Russell will look for touch on the eastern side of the field. He gets a nice bit of fade on it, and they'll start the set 30 out from the Jets line. Well, let's see what the Lions can do, as that's a big tackle coming in on the 11 there, Jordan Chandler, who was rocked in that tackle, and he's slow to get to his feet and play the ball. He's back on his haunches as play goes
He's
on.
Down.
Yep, quick hands now, Collier to Weir. They're only 20 away. He gets to his feet slowly. Oh, and that play the ball was horrible. Another error for the Lions. Well, what we've seen the Jets be guilty of in recent weeks, the Lions are today.
And you think this is so uncharacteristic of a Michael Cronin side. Michael Cronin's side's all about just building pressure, doing the little things right, like obviously completing your sets, kicking to your corners, and playing the percentages. And they've just been a little bit sloppy today. Do you think it has a lot to do with, obviously you said that their inspirational leader not playing?
Oh, I certainly think that he is the control centre in the middle of the park.
Especially in the 9.
It's a big blow, but having said that, these are fundamental errors. I mean, playing the football.
Forward passes, like you said, fundamental errors. And
it's coming from plays you wouldn't expect it from. We saw a forward pass down here from Jake Taylor as the Lions were coming out of their own end. So they've got a lot of improving to do as the Jets hold this 10-point lead heading into the shadows of half-time. As the Jets work it away from their own line, Deves plays it. Now Coulter. Wrapped up one-on-one. It was the winger and Phillips. Quinlan now getting out from dummy half. We don't see that too often, but a good run from Quinlan. Now acting half Connors. Connors going there to Fagerland. And Fagerland, with some good leg drive, will march the Jets into an attacking position on the last. Farrell, short ball to Wellington.
Yep.
You called it, forward pass.
Still Farrell's not happy about it. Again, do you think the flat pass or that pass to the line's the right option?
Pin it to the corner.
You've saying that all day.
I think they really underestimate the power of a kick.
And we already know that Harry Phillips has been tested a couple of times. Obviously took a one good take, one time he dropped it. So you keep putting pressure on, because they keep putting Ardler under pressure. Keep putting Phillips under pressure, I reckon.
As Collier plays it, Gumley Quine. Well, this is where he's good. Broken field play, looking for the quick play, the ball.
They're pretty lucky there, they'll get away with that, the Jets.
He was asking for a penalty, and Russell, he goes for a little scoot as well. They're already into the Jets, half the lines. This is better from the men from Gerringong. Now Weir taking some defenders with him. He certainly left Deves in his wake. As they go the open side, Russell steps off the right and he almost got through, but they were offside, the Jets. 4 minutes to survive here. Russell gets on with it quickly. He uses Deves as a bit of a shepherd, Russell, and he can't get away there in the middle from Dylan Farrell, who makes an important tackle. Now Russell going for a scoop. Mulhall now. Mulhall going out wide to Taylor. They should score. Oh, and a tackle coming up from James. And Winchester gets away, but he goes into touch. James came again, made the tackle. They were all offside. They were all offside.
Do you think that was the option to right? Like with Winchester, surely you just bring it back inside. I don't know if they knew there was a penalty coming, but yeah, the Jets have got to hold on. Can they hold on for another 4 minutes?
Well, we're about to find out. We're about to find out. So they look to get on with things. Russell, short to Weir, who was standing very flat-footed. Had to check his run as well. He almost overran it. So they go open. Now Collier.
He was only flat-footed there catching that, wasn't he? He was waiting for it.
And Kershaw was waiting for him. So they go left again. Russell. Taylor. Away from one. Kershaw coming again. He's everywhere. 5 metres out. Back to the right. Russell on to Mulhall. Mulhall to the line. Out to Gumley Quine. The speedster looking to get round his men. Gumley Quine!
He's lightning, mate.
He answers the call. And the Lions hit back right on the stroke of halftime.
The Jets probably deserve to go in by more than a converted try, but they're not going to now. And yeah, the Lions, who realistically, you said they first 5 minutes of the half, they were great. The next 30 has been all Jets, really. And then they get some points in Gumley Quine, like first game back in a while after an injury, lay off with that hamstring. Just showed speed, didn't he? That's all it was. He just ran around him. Calder was trying to catching 8s and 9s there.
Oh, he's so dangerous. You give him the outside, he'll take it and go see you later. And I'm sure he would have been absolutely filthy about being stood up by Ryan James. He had a point to prove, Gumley Quine. He scored 2 against the Jets early in the season, and he scores again, gets his side back into the contest with 2 minutes left until the break. And this is a pressure kick here for Taylor. We know how good he is with the boot, but 10-4 to 10-6... very important. It could be very important in the grand scheme of things, and I just wonder as well whether the Jets, their heads will drop after that, because like you said, Courtney Ward, they have dominated this first half, but they only have a 6-point lead to show at the moment. Could be cut to 4 here. Let's ride it home with Taylor, who's only a couple of metres in from the southwestern touchline. It's going to need to come back. It does!
Wow.
What a kick! 10-6.
It looked like it was going to go to the left and swung late, and yeah, it looks like we're going to go into the break 10-6. And you think, if you're Michael Cronin, you're probably happy to be down 10. Obviously, you don't want to be down, but considering what we've seen from the Lions in the first half, you're pretty happy to only be down by 4.
Absolutely, absolutely, you would. They have been comprehensively outplayed by the Jets, and a lot of that's through the Lions' own errors. But to go in 10-6, they will be very, very pleased. In the context of the game. Of
course. In
the context of the game. But I'll tell you what, Michael Cronin will have some very tough and harsh realities to really let his players know about at the halftime break. As that one goes straight down the centre of the park. That'll be it, you'd think. The siren to go any second. One more play, perhaps. They won't have time even for that, so... this last round game that has a big bearing on the finals is well and truly in the balance. It's the Jets on top, 10 points to 6 over Gerringong, and we'll be back with with the second half very shortly. Welcome back to the Nowra Showground for this St George Illawarra Milton Ulladulla ex-Servos Group 7 match of the round, the final round of the home and away season. So much bearing on the finals this match has here as the Jets lead the Lions 10 points to 6. You'd have to say Nowra really dominated the first half, but the Lions stuck in there, Courtney Ward.
Oh, absolutely. What do you think Dill Farrell said to the boys at the break?
Well, look, it's tough because they played some good football. They certainly didn't make as many errors as what they did in the first half last week against Kiama, but I think it is going to come down to that ball control. And I think better end of the sets, and I think Dylan Farrell has a big bearing on that. So I think he's got to take responsibility as well. So,
and if you're Michael Cronin, completions?
Complete, hold the ball and mount pressure, as now the Jets will start us off.
Obviously, this game's got huge bearing on the finals.
And
if the Jets win, they're in the final, simple as that. And then Gerringong fall to fourth, and these two will most likely play each other next week if the Jets win. So,
well, we could be 40 minutes away from deciding the top 5. That's if the Jets win. Destiny is in their hands. If they lose, then we nervously await the outcome of Albion Park v Warilla, as Warilla try and snatch that 5th spot, if indeed the door is left open for them. As now the Lions, as they look for a top 3 spot, they lose today, that opens the door for Kiama.
Well, Kiama's obviously currently sitting in 3rd. Obviously they took care of Berry yesterday, 44-6, so yeah, obviously the Gerringong would love to win here to get that double by the cherry like we talked about earlier, and it's so important in finals, isn't it, Corey?
It certainly is, as Russell under pressure gets a decent kicker. Well, it was...
They both just stood there.
It was straight down his throat, but it was a wobbly one, and he didn't look 100% comfortable, but he takes the catch, and they'll start their set 20 out from their own line. And here's the man of the first half as far as the Jets are concerned. Ryan James scored an absolute bottler, and that's a good run from Wellington. He got a big run up, and he got over the game line, and now the Jets are rolling forward with some real venom. Coulter looking for some work. 40 out from the Lions line. Certainly they've started with some pep in their step. And Fagerlund, he's the latest to cart the ball up into the Lions' defences. On the last, they look to run it through the line.
Oh.
A yawning gap, I thought, for Power Farrell. It goes back to his brother, but they lose the football again, opting not to kick.
That's what I'm saying. We literally preempted that. I do love that the flat pass obviously gets the defence keeps them guessing, but just dribble it in there. Get it in the in-goal, do a repeat set. Is it that hard?
It doesn't keep them guessing if they're doing it every time.
No, that's 3 or 4 times on the left edge every time. Michael Cronin would know. He's like, if Dill's going to run to the line, you know he's going to go a flat pass.
Now Gumley Quine got the Lions back into it, and he gets them an early penalty. High tackle, and the culprit is having a look. It might have been Harris Davis, I think. Kershaw was in there as well. And that kick for touch doesn't make too many metres, but still, nevertheless, a good place to start the set if you're a Lions fan. Roberts now with the ball as he's driven back. The Jets looking to make a statement early in this second half. 2 minutes gone. 10-6. The Jets up. Mulhall yet to really have a bearing on this game, but watch out if he does. The dangerous ball runner, 6 tries this season, looking to make it number 7. Now Russell, the general. Taylor turning it on the inside, and Chandler straightening the point of attack and almost finding a chink in the armour of this Jets defence. Now Russell, flat-footed Taylor, stepping, fending. Gumley Quine thought he could get away, but he couldn't get away from Kershaw. 5th and last. Russell. They can work it through the hands. Winchester scored plenty of tries this season. I beg your pardon, they still have one up the sleeve here. Do the Lions, hence no kick. And now Russell, he'll go to the boot. The chase coming through. Taylor's there. A herd of them. And Roberts comes up with the ball, but it was knocked on. A touch there from the Lions, so the Jets survive.
Rickson Russell is a bit worse for wear. That Ryan James hit him, and this shows the difference between the two sides. Obviously having a great number 7 in Rickson Russell, getting to the kick, putting pressure on the Jets defence there, and obviously Dufale, fantastic player, but he's not a natural 7. Or a natural half.
Or a game manager.
Yeah.
He's a game breaker, but you'd probably say they are short maybe a game manager, the Jets. If that's one Achilles heel they have.
He'd be better off playing off a Rickson Russell. He'd be fantastic playing off a Rickson Russell. But different styles, but yeah, I think that's a...
Well, you did mention he was a Culburra junior, so maybe they can twist his arm. Although he is Lions through and through.
Culburra juniors, yep.
So Kershaw now... What a shift he's put in this afternoon. Connors, that wide ball, and again they came up. Coulter coming up with an error.
They lost it.
Well, that's twice now that Connors has come up with that wide looping ball, and Roberts read it beautifully both times.
It puts pressure on your centre there because you can see it coming, and Roberts is just waiting for Coulter to get it, and he's just going to whack him. And
whack him he did.
Yeah.
He came up with the error. He was put under all sorts of pressure, and that's the last thing the Jets need, having just navigated their way out of treacherous waters.
Well, now the Lions get a chance to probably take their first lead of the game here.
They do. On at 16, Alec Brooks for the Lions.
He's their first sub, it looks like.
Winchester offload. Russell, flat pass. Almost forward, back to Brooks.
Some appeals for forward, but Drury doesn't want a part of it.
Mulhall playing at the line. They're almost up to the 20. In fact, that's where they'll play it. Oh, and an error from acting half. It was Russell.
Yeah, Isaac Russell. And obviously, you think that's what they're going to be talking like Scotty Stewart and obviously Michael Cronin saying to the boys, just get through the simple errors. It's not even like they're pushing a pass. It's the play the balls, the forward passes, even just simple ball handling hammer.
Well, that's the second time that the dummy half has gone without it, and then there was a play the ball that went awry, and it really is just 101.
It's un-Gerringong like this. It's usually so methodical, and geez, Ryan James has been fantastic. He had to be best on so far. Like, how hard is he running the footy?
He certainly is. Taylor and Chandler have their hands full as the Jets with Fagelin. Driven back.
You abbreviate that, Fagelin, or just Fagel? I'll go you back, Hammer.
Kershaw now.
Speaking of work, I was like...
Oh, I thought that might have
absolutely.
Been question marks on that, but told to play on. Deeves with the hands free. He gets the ball to Quinlan. Now to Farrell. Farrell getting away from 1-2. He's got the fullback to beat Gumley quiet. He bumps away from him. He gets the ball out wide. One bounce forward from the Jets. They butcher a golden opportunity. Dylan Farrell, though, the dangerous Dylan Farrell, he almost got himself a 4-pointer.
He sent Tommy Gumley Quine into next week, and then unfortunately they flick it out to the left, and Blake Harris-Davis just has a bit of a brain snap and throws it forward, and that ends their attacking raid, and the Lions off the hook there again. It looks like the 17 for Gerringong's coming on.
Yep, the 17, Aidan Wern.
I was waiting to see who's going to come off. I assume one of the forwards from the scrum's going to fall off the back.
So the Lions somehow get out unscathed. And so does Gumley Quine. He's back to his feet and with the ball after copping the big get out of my road from Dylan Farrell. Neither side really able to capitalise on some golden opportunities they've had in this game, as now the Lions go short side, and it's Roberts. A couple metres shy of that halfway mark. They've had good field territory in this second half, have the Lions. No points to show just yet. Still that half-time score of 10-6 remains as Russell spiralling round, and that might have come off the Lions, I feel, and it's back with the Jets in any event.
The Jets didn't really contest that. Obviously the Lions went up, and And now they're on the front foot again. He's just so powerful at a dummy half.
Well, Winchester's no mug, and James is really giving him a tough time. But he comes again there, Winchester, and he makes another tackle on James. One try this afternoon, and it was one for the highlight reel, let me tell you. And Fagerland again with the ball.
Sub for the Jets. Elliot Stewart's just come on, and Belly Wellington's coming off. And
He's a trick play.
Is
Oh,
that
it's right through. It was forward.
Oh.
Adler. He had his eyes set on underneath the uprights, but Will Drury calls him back.
I look forward from here, Hammer.
Yeah.
Very flat.
Yeah, it was very flat. Referee was right there.
The fans are giving it to us, saying it's forward, and I have to tend to agree. It looked forward from here, and they're not happy about it because, like you said, Adler was pinning his ears back then, wasn't he? And he was just going straight to the try line.
He was, but dangerous signs. Dangerous signs. That's 2 bombed opportunities for the Jets.
Will it come back to bite them?
Could well do. Could well do, but the Lions have to be much better if they're to capitalise on these errors. Russell to feed the scrum. Just on the Lions side of halfway. Mulhall yet to really inject himself into the game. He'll play it on halfway. Now Taylor loses the ball. Big tackle coming in. And the Gerringong woes continue.
That's a killer, isn't it?
Yep. Well, I can see the Crow. He's still at the ground. He hasn't packed up and got in his car and gone home. So
Not yet. Don't count your chickens too early.
no. But I think from this performance, he certainly would be tempted to. But
A lot of work to do ahead of next week.
certainly is. But 30 minutes still to pull this one out of the fire, and they are not far behind by any stretch. As now the Jets, 1-on-1, Taylor looking for the strip. I reckon he's got it too. I reckon that's Taylor's ball. No, controversial there. Deeves. Oh, and hang on. Deeves with a cheeky knee.
Taylor's yelling at the sideline official saying what's doing there, but nothing happening.
Play goes on. Power Farrell. Well, I wonder if we pick that up on the camera or not. That'll be interesting to see in the replay. It was off the ball. Anyway, the Jets looking to extend this 4-point lead.
They've reset this fresh set of
Farrell throwing the dummy and going to the line. Now Adler, he's already got one this afternoon. He could have had 2 had it not been for a forward pass. And they'll play it 10 metres out. Slow play the ball. Farrell. Oh, he had a player at his outside. Thought it might have run around his own play, but it's said, yes, it'll be a penalty.
obstruction.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah. Well, it is a gaping hole, and all of a sudden you think Ryan James is just in this hole straight through it. I agree. Drew's made the right call there.
Yeah, well, Farrell almost gave himself up and then ended up passing the football. I don't know what he was doing there.
And then, I know that the Jets will complain, but that was, I think that's a pretty clear call. And now the Lions go on the attack.
Well, that's the third
It goes begging.
opportunity of this half. And will that come back to haunt them, as you mentioned, or as you certainly asked the question, Courtney Ward?
Bo Doozy's now on, and Isaac Russell's come off for the Lions.
Well, Winchester, he has scored a swag of tries this year, but he really hasn't had too many opportunities today. He plays the ball, and now Joel Ducey. Russell taking it to the line, almost getting through. Brought down by the bootlaces, but there was no marker. Gumley Quine! He gets away. He gets out of the tackle. He had players to his outside, but he decides to take the tackle, and he's driven backwards. Good tackle coming in from Connors. So it's the last. Russell going through the hands. The kick going to Farrell. Courtney Ward's getting a little bit excitable here up in the grandstand as Adler plays the foot. In fact, it was Deeves who plays it now for Harris Davis.
It was a great pickup by Dylan Farrell, really. Great reaction pickup.
as they go back to the right. Through Rowan back on the park for the Jets. 8 shy of halfway. Farrell to the blind side. That's the way they go. He's got the dangerous Ryan James, and Ryan James gets away from 1, 2, and finally brought down on the 40. But that's a good place to play the football. Farrell taking it to the line, and again asking questions of this Lions defence, but he gets caught on the last. So who will the kicking duties fall on? Power Farrell's waiting for it. He's got a big boot. That has got altitude. That's got a long way. What a take of the Ingalls. That'll be 7 tackles for the Lions.
That was fantastic take out there, wasn't it? I think it finds Alec Brooks out there.
Well, almost went dead on the full. That's how well he struck the football.
How good was the bomb there by Stixie? I wouldn't want to be catching that. You would have called that.
I wouldn't have been catching that. Don't worry about that.
Back in the Raiders days, you would have been catching it on the wing. That's a winger's nightmare.
Long time ago. Long time ago. So Ducey plays it. The Lions with a full set. 7 tackles. How the game can change. 10-6. Jets up. Weir. And the big bopper. Brought down centre of the park, 35 out. They go to the right. Mulhall shifts back to the left. Winchester looking for some more action. He gets an offload away. Now they've got numbers out to the left. And the 17 for Gerringong. It's Wern. And
they turned it over again.
He's lost the football.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't been on the park long, and he comes up with an error as James. Well, he had a little bit of a peep down the blind side, and he shifts back to in behind the ruck, where he'll play it 20 out, 1,000 now. And the Maltese Falcon makes about 5 metres, and he's brought down. Now it's Adler. Adler likes this. He likes the quick play the ball. He scoops it up with one hand, and he makes some easy metres. Rowan now. 15 gone, second half. No change to the halftime score. Back to Buster Connors. Well, he didn't hit that how he liked it, but it bounces in between the Bermuda Triangle of Lions players there, and they get away with it, do the Lions, but going backwards. Good chase by the Jets. Beautiful afternoon for football as that one pops out, but it had a little bit of help, so a penalty to the Lions.
Piggyback down the field there.
I have to say, the Jets have been pretty good with their discipline this afternoon.
That would have been a point of emphasis for Dill this week, I reckon. Like, obviously, last week was just a shambles by them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. But they've been much better this afternoon, and that's a little bit of a blight on what's been otherwise a pretty squeaky clean rap sheet today. Russell dummies. Russell claps on the pace. He's got Gumley Quine looming up. Gumley Quine brought down by Power Farrell. A try saver. But the Lions have got numbers out to the right. They go out there, they score. And now it's Ducey with the ball. Oh, he had to pass, but he decides to hang on to it. They've still got tackles up the sleeve, the Lions, as they go back to the left. The man who started it, Russell, he gets the ball out to Collier. We're standing still. He's easy meat for the Jets' defence. A couple up the sleeve still for the Lions. Russell. Drifting across field, Winchester looking for another try. Offload. Oh, they fought for the ball. It was Ducey, and having a look there as well, it might have been Mulhall, who both were fighting for the football, and they got in each other's roads.
If one of them takes it, they could no score then, I think. You think the great offload there by Winchester, and they both were fighting over it. Another chance goes begging for Gerringong, and realistically, Gerringong's probably completing at 50%. They've been pretty poor.
Yeah, they have been far below their best, but what a thrilling final round game. 10-6 in this St George Illawarra Milton Ulladulla ex-Servos match of the round on Bar TV. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching. I know that there'll be plenty of Lions and Jets fans all over the country as that one's coughed up, and it'll be a try to the Lions under the posts. Would you believe it?
Wow.
An absolute howler from the Jets.
Jeez.
And they'll take the lead, the Lions.
They'd like to have that again, wouldn't they? God, that is something that you want to quickly forget. And really, like, the Lions are probably, as much as the errors they've had, they've probably been the better of the two teams in the second half, realistically, and they're just well-deserved try.
Unbelievable. I'm just still coming to grips with what we've seen there. Hamish Holland. Mr. Johnny on the spot.
It looks like Dylan Farrell might be coming off.
Well, Courtney Ward, you did mention to me in the pre-game that he is struggling with a calf strain.
Yeah, he is. He was thinking about not playing last week. He's he's going back on. Okay. But yes, I do know he's dealing with a calf, and if they do get a lead, I can see him coming off. Obviously, he didn't finish the game last week at Kiama, but yeah, he's currently off now. I don't know if is he going to come back on?
Might be a few messages coming out as Taylor gets ready to put the Lions in front with 21 to play. The Jets may be left to rue some missed opportunities in this half as Taylor puts it straight over the hay diddle with 21 left. 12-10, the Lions lead. And at the moment, as the way things stand, well, Nowra, they'll have to wait to see how the Albion Park Barilla game goes. And Gerringong, they'll be getting a second bite at the cherry in week one of the finals. Still plenty to be played in this game, though.
Well, it's the Lions' first lead of the match so far, so now the pressure's on the hosts. They've been leading all game, and now they need to score. Like, they need to win this a lot more than the Lions do.
Gumley Quine takes that kick off from Dylan Farrell, and it's Weir who'll play the football 12 metres out from his own line. Well, the Crow would certainly be disappointed with the way his side's played today, but somehow they find themselves in front with a quarter to play. Now it's a question of, do they have the mental fortitude to really shut this one out? So Wern will play it. Solid contact coming in there on Phillips. A real hush over this ground.
Great run.
Great run by Ducey. A real hush, the Jets fans, their shell shots. Russell. And not great purchase on that one. Fowson will gobble that one up. No dramas. He'll play it 28 metres out from his own line. Adler to acting half and a full head of steam and a good run coming in from Harris Davis. Well, what do the Jets have? They certainly have plenty of players that can open this game up. This is one of them. Adler, who marches up to halfway before losing the ball, but a penalty.
A late penalty in the set of 6. Great news for the Jets.
Collier in there, the guilty party. 19 minutes left. Now the Jets go on attack. Well, they're going to take the shot from halfway.
What? Wow. Boy, oh boy, I did not see that coming. And there's one guy that could kick it in the comp. It's Dylan Farrell hits it as sweetly as possible. And there is a slight breeze going from left to right. But this is a dead set 48-metre kick.
Well,
You've put the Mickey on him a couple of times. Is he going to kick this?
he'll kick it dead. I have no question.
I agree,
He'll
get a
kick it
distance.
dead.
But it's getting between those two sticks out there. What are you calling?
Ooh. It'll be a tough ask.
I think the Lions will be doing a dropout.
I'll sit on the fence on this one. Farrell. It's long enough. Is it straight enough? No, it's not. It'll be out to the 20 for the restart.
So that's what we thought. This is going to be the issue. It was about getting it straight because obviously you wanted to really hit the ball sweetly.
Interesting decision from Dylan Farrell. They obviously know how tense and tight this game is. Kershaw, though.
Great run.
He'll start the set on the front foot for the Jets. Connors. Offload away. Fagelin going to row it.
We got the first score through from Sexglen Oval. Albion Park has just scored after 25 minutes. So they've got a conversion now. Missed a conversion. It's 4-0 to Albion Park after 25.
There you go. Warilla starting from behind in that one. Now it's Power Farrell trying to shrug away from Wirt. Offload away. Fagelin goes to Deves. And Deves submits to the tackle. They trail by 2, the Jets. Farrell inside to Kershaw, who tries to bowl them over like 10 pins. And he's brought down a metre out. Last play to the boot of Farrell. And it'll be Gumley Quine, who was there, ever present.
How good's he been out the back today? Fantastic.
Great positional play, 16 minutes left. The Lions holding on to a 2-point lead.
Well, that wind's really picked up in the last 5 minutes, hasn't it? From left to right. Like, it's had the Jets back, and I think that'll play a big factor in the last 15 or so minutes. So, especially with the kicks.
Ducey put on his back by Connors. Now Winchester loses it. What a tackle coming in.
Was that Ryan James? I think it was Elliot Stewart actually out there. Winchester's just been hit ball and all and dropped it cold.
Well, Stewart came up with an absolute bell ringer.
And Nathan Ford's down there pacing. He'd be itching to get out there. There's no one else that wants to be out there more than him. But obviously can't with the injury.
Well, Gerringong, they're inviting the Jets back into this one. They're almost inviting them to take the lead. Penalties, drop balls.
See, a draw would be enough for the Jets to go through.
It would. It would.
So they'd be happy with a 12-ball draw.
They absolutely would. Farrell now to Deves. Bumps away from Mulhall, but he's brought down by Collier. So they go to the right with Rowan, who started the game and will likely finish the game for the Jets in the middle. Open side, Farrell showed it to his brother.
Yeah, they're on here.
Instead goes to Coulter. Coulter gets on the outside of one, and the Jets fans,
Dill's down.
they sense
Dill's
an opportunity.
Dylan Farrell, hammy, gone.
He's
gone.
calling. He's
gone.
calling for the subs. As
Dylan's gone.
As the Jets play on, Power Farrell, James, standing start. James skipping, dancing. He's refusing to go down. He's trying to find a way to get through, and Mulhall from behind brings him down. The Jets looking for a try to put them back in front, but they'll be held up on the last. And with Dylan Farrell gone, that is a big blow to the Jets.
Huge. You can see Nate Fowles is trying to help him. It looks like hammy. I think he can't even. It's his left hammy. He cannot move at all.
Could be his calf.
Could be his calf, like, because obviously he has calf issue, but maybe because you think putting pressure on that calf, the whole leg's gone, and yeah, he can't put any pressure on it. And it was all from that pass to Josh Coulter, which nearly created that chance there, and without him.
14 minutes left. They haven't got their captain coach. Geez, if the Jets win this will be a win for the ages.
Well, you talk about Nate Ford being inspirational leader for the Lions. Dill Farrell is that for the Jets, without a doubt.
Absolutely. As the Lions through Russell, dummies again. He's deceptively quick off the mark, Rickson Russell, and he's so strong for a little fella. So the ball back to Taylor. Again, plenty of altitude on this one, and a good take from Harris Davis. Now he'll play it 30 out. Backs against the wall here for the Jets. They trail by 2. No Dylan Farrell. Who's going to step up? I suspect that maybe the man at acting half now will go into the halves. Josh Coulter. He fends away from one, but they were up quickly on him, and he only makes a couple more metres. They're 8 shy of halfway. Trailing by 2. Needing a win to guarantee a top 5 spot. As we repeat, Albion Park currently leading Warilla, so at the moment, even a loss may be enough for the Jets if the Eagles can upset the Gorillas. James plays at centre of the park. Coulter now with the kicking duties. He pokes it over the top. Jumping up is Ducey. Just didn't quite have enough height from Coulter. And now the Lions can try and get out of trouble, although they've had plenty of trouble getting out of trouble today.
Absolutely. And a lot of that trouble's come from poor ball handling on their own behalf, really. And you have to think, if they play smart here, especially with no Dill Farrell, they are in the box seat here, the Lions.
Ducey to play it. Gumley Quine. I called the game a few weeks ago and he just broke the game open against Warilla. He was ultimately the difference in that one. Will he prove the difference today? Still plenty to be written in the final 12 minutes of this enthralling encounter. The final round before finals. Russell inside his own half sends it tumbling down to Adler, who makes no mistake and tries to get away from the tackle of Russell, but geez, he punches above his weight. He came up with a good tackle there, and now it'll be Falzon trying to advance the ball. He gets around Mulhall. Mulhall trying to come again, and he gets the ball away to James. In fact, it's Harris Davis out on the left edge, and Harris Davis is up to the 30, and it's a good start for the set for the Jets. They're down by 2. There's 11 minutes left. James into the centre of the park. Coulter now trying to slice through. He gets an offload to Wellington. Ducey wraps him up, ball and all. They're only 22 metres away. The Jets, they may not have Farrell on the field, but they keep coming here at the showground. The fans are willing them on. And now it's with Rowan centre of the park. He almost gets away there from the tackle of Holland. And he gets some help in. They're 12 metres out. They keep going to the left. James looks to his inside, gives it to Power Farrell, and he's brought down a metre out on the last. They go short side. Coulter tries to trickle it through, but it's picked up by the Lions, and the Lions are away.
That's weird.
We're trying to go the length, but he was never going to get there, and the cover comes across.
He's never seen so much space in his life, Hammer.
A big play from the big front rower. Now Winchester, look to his outside. He goes himself around the legs, is tackled.
Oh.
Surely that's a
Surely.
flop. Adler. Play on's the call from Drury. They go back to the right. It's Taylor with a wide pass out there. And a high tackle, is it? Yes, it is.
What do? You take the 2? And Ben Grant's just come off the Lions.
2 to 4 doesn't make too much of a difference.
No.
You certainly try and put this one beyond doubt with another try.
What do you think the Jets are doing with the reshuffle? Because obviously Ben Wellington came off of Farrell. Are you to assume that Joshy Coulter moves into the halves with Dwayne Buster Connors?
Yep.
Have to?
Well, and it looks as if it's certainly
that way.
That way. Coulter, we saw him with a kick. He seems to have assumed that playmaking responsibility.
Moved into 7. Yeah.
So, but they have to navigate this defensive set. Holland, 15 out. The Lions, well, they were so close to conceding, but they may be able to land the knockout blow here. Russell turning it on the inside. That's Chandler. 10 metres out. Underneath the uprights of the northern end. There's Ducey! Straight through a yawning gap, reaches out and puts the nail in the coffin. Gerringong will lead this one 16-10. Kick to come, and Taylor will throw this one over, and that could be good night.
I'm going to say it is good night. You think it's going to go to 18-10 with 8 to go. Can you see the Jets scoring twice without Dylan Farrell on the field?
Well,
stranger things have happened, but
it certainly will be a big mountain to climb now. What about Ducey? Didn't start the game. He wasn't even playing in this game until Nathan Ford ruled himself out, and he gets himself a TRY. It was like Moses parting the Red Sea there.
And then reaching out the left mitt and slamming it down they were left the match winner, I'd say. The Jets are really got to score points in a hurry, and if there's one team in the comp who can, it is the Jets. We all know that. But yeah, the season's on the line. Their one saving grace obviously can be that the park is leading Warilla still. But you don't want to rely on other people's results, do you?
You certainly don't.
And Warilla at home are going to be, if they go into the breakdown, they're going to be doing everything they can to, because they'll know, because this game's obviously starting an hour later, they'll know if we win this, we're in the finals. Simple as that.
So at the moment, if things stay like they are, Kiama will be hosting an elimination final next weekend. Or Jamboree.
Kiama and Jamboree will be the qualifying final at Jamboree. The elimination final will be these two at Michael Cronin. Because
Okay.
this will be 4 versus 5. Oh, no, sorry.
No, so Taylor,
My
Taylor
apologies.
as Taylor
My
kicks that goal. No, so Gerringong will go the top 3.
Sorry, my apologies.
Kiama will go to 4th.
Yes, so he
And they will host a home final against either Nowra or Warilla.
Correct. Sorry, that'll be on the Saturday. And then the Sunday will be Gerringong, Jamberoo at Jamberoo.
That's right.
We got there in the end.
We got there in the end. That's, of course, unless Jamberoo win by about 120 against the Stingrays, in which case
yes.
they'll get the week off.
So it does
You
look
never
like,
say never.
No, it looks like Dill Farrell. It is his hammy. He's got ice on that left hammy there, and he's actually speeding Nath forward. And yeah, it could be a if the Jets squeak through and he's not there, like that is a huge loss.
So while we were gas-bagging about the makeup of the top 5, the Lions come up with a short kick-off, and they are in good field position to bury the Jets even more here. But as you mentioned, a big blow if Dylan Farrell can't play finals, if they do in fact make it. But Warilla, destiny could be in their hands.
Warilla have just equalled. It's 4-4 with a kick to come from the sideline.
Well, there's a chance now for the Jets. They've forced the error.
And Dill Farrell is not moving well at all. And yeah, Warilla 4-4 with a kick to come.
Hamstrings can be very tricky, so if there's even the slightest strain there, and obviously that's quite a considerable strain, that could be his season.
I'd say, like, even if the Jets squeak through, it'd be highly improbable that he's going to be back playing by next Saturday. It's a 6-day turnaround. And the kick's been missed by the host, so it's 4-4 heading into the end of the first half at Sexton Home Oval between Rilla and Albion Park.
Ryan James, can he be the man to come up with some sort of miracle here for the Jets? Well, he's making a real fist of it because he's breaking tackles at will here. Ryan James trying to the very bitter end here for the Jets, and he's almost up to halfway. That's tackle 1 for the home side as the Nowra crowd try and spur them on. They'll play it a metre into the Lions' half. Coulter tucking it under the wing, a good ball to Wellington, and Wellington going towards the sideline. He shrugs away from the first up tackle, and it's Russell. Who else? He comes in and makes the tackle. Now it's Calder again. He throws a ball in hope that someone's there. It's Connors in the end, and Connors will be brought down. They're throwing it around. Still time for the Jets. 4 minutes, in fact, as they go to the left. And now Coulter shifts back to where the ruck was played. He throws it out the back.
Kershaw wasn't watching.
Adler, well, he takes advantage of a defender slipping, and he almost goes through. 5th and last. It has to be now or never. Coulter rolling it into the in goal. Does it have too many legs? It does! The Lions will go out to the 20 and they'll have 7 tackles.
Oh, huge. I was just about to say, who's going to have to take control? It has to be your Colders or your Buster Connors. Buster's been really quiet today. Super quiet for the Jets, and yeah, they really needed to force a repeat set. Obviously they need to score twice in 4 minutes. It's up against them now, and so the Lions have got running repairs, and yeah, the Jets are in a bit of strife here.
Play down for the Lions, but play continues. I'll just look to complete the set, roll the ball into touch. They have an 8-point lead. Winchester 11 short of halfway. Well, this would go down as one of the perhaps worst performances from the Lions this season, yet they're somehow going to get the win this afternoon.
Second half's been good. The first half was definitely below par.
So Russell waiting at dummy half. Chandler with it. 38 out. Quick hands, Mulhall, Taylor. So they look to shut this one down. Holland, he submits pretty meekly to the tackle. No need for the Lions to play outlandish football. They'll get to the kick. Taylor, well, that's a bizarre decision. He's kicked it out on the full. And what that does is it gives them a chance to, from the turnover, play the football.
But surely you're trying to grab at that hammer. I've never seen that before. He just belted it. He was like, I don't want this ball anymore. But now they're on the back foot, and the Jets have to score in this set of 6. End of story.
Well, Power Farrell with his brother not out there, has to spark something, but throws an offload, and it wasn't handled by Fagerland, who was waiting for it.
All over Red Rover?
It's all over bar the shouting.
Yeah.
All over bar the shouting, Courtney Ward. So Gerringong will get 2 bites at the cherry. We talked about it. They've really limped into the finals, but somehow they've hung on to a top 3 spot. And I guess that's kudos to their first half of the season and just how well they started.
Absolutely. They're fantastic. Obviously, had 2 losses the last 2 weeks, but the way they've fought back, and obviously they've scored 8 unanswered points here. And obviously they scored right on half time with Gobney Quine. And the second half's been like chalk and cheese. The completion rate's higher and just unrecognisable. This is the Gerringong side we know. Considering like the troops on they've actually got on the sideline.
Chalk and cheese to the first half where they couldn't catch a cold. All of a sudden, they look $1 million in the second half, and Rickson Russell really has been the architect. Mulhall's been good, and this fella, Gumley Quine.
He's been fantastic. And Taylor.
He's looking for the exclamation mark. Winchester throws it to the touch judge. Well, he must have got the call. Drury, I think.
He looked at it, and I was like, he's thrown it. And I go, there's no winger there. Fair income. How good.
Straight into the bread basket of the Lions woman.
Yeah. Eleanor Drury was like, oh, I'll take that. Yep. As soon as he threw, he goes, oh, hang on, that's the touchy.
He'll claim that he was just trying to wind down the clock. He was trying to wind down the clock.
He had a call.
Well, that will be it. Neither side looking to pack the scrum. The Jets know that their season now rests in the hands of Warilla, but it's full time. In the match of the round, in the final round of Group 7, the Lions rattling off 18 unanswered points to win this one by 8. Courtney Ward, it was a much better second half after the Lions were really slow out of the block.
Oh, absolutely. Like you alluded to, they've secured that top 3 spot, double by the cherry, and they probably deserve that, like you said, the way they played that first half of the season. And yeah, they'll obviously take on, we think, Jamboree next week. And now news come to hand, Park up to 10-4. So
this isn't necessarily the end of the Jets season.
No.
The next hour will certainly decide the Jets' fate.
Yep. So if it stands by it is now, and the Park win against Warilla, the Jets sneak in and they will play Kiama next Saturday at Kiama.
That will be an absolute belter, and I know that they'll have revenge on their mind after last week's poor showing at the Kiama Showground. That's if they make it, of course.
And that's if one Dylan Farrell can play.
What a big blow that could be. They will big talking point.
Of course, they will get Jake Gould back and Tyson Simpson back. Obviously, you can't replace Dylan Farrell, but those two help.
Absolutely.
Massively.
They have missed them. They have missed that X factor and certainly that ability to turn the game on a dime, so to speak. Now, obviously, Gerringong, they book in a spot, most likely, unless Jamboree run up an absolute cricket score, and I mean literally a cricket score against the Stingrays, which isn't beyond the realms of possibility. However, unlikely, then we see Gerringong go to Jamboree. Wow, what a game that's going to be.
Oh, that'll be an absolute cracker. And you have to think, the way Jamboree's played the last couple of weeks, obviously they dropped a game against the Park, and they're obviously playing as we speak now, but yeah, I'd have to think, a lot will depend if Nathan Ford plays. I think he will. I think he'll play. And obviously they've got some other injuries, but I think Jamborees are one of the teams to beat this year, and I think that's a huge cracking game. Don't you agree?
Absolutely, I think it will. Now, we'll just about wrap up here, but before we do, it's not necessarily the official man of the match, but who are you giving your man of the match to?
You mentioned a couple of names. I thought Gummy Quine was fantastic. Obviously, Jake Taylor was good, but I just think the way that Rickson Russell sort of directed the play around. We talk about the difference between the two sides. One having an out-and-out halfback, one having sort of a makeshift sort of ball player. Yeah, I think Rickson Russell was fantastic, and obviously, the other two were great. But yeah, Rickson Russell for mine, you. Rickson
Russell for me as well. Courtney Ward, thank you so much. Looking forward to having your company in the finals.
Absolutely.
At the moment, it's Gerringong and Jamboree at Jamboree next week in the major semi-final. That's almost locked and loaded, but we're still awaiting to see who will be playing in the minor semi. We know Kiama will be at home. Will it be Warilla? Will it be Jets? We'll find out very shortly, but looking forward to having your company next week in the finals. Until then, it's bye for now.